Hi-do-ho, Quarantinos. Here is your relaxing pottery video for the day. My name is Mathilda Potter, and today I want to show y'all how to make a plate like this. It's going to be in a different color clay, but it's the same sort of general idea. I've also got a couple plates that I started earlier and I've been letting them dry a little bit. And after I make this plate, I can show you how to do some cool decorative stuff. And it's a little bit reminiscent of spin art, which is really fun. First thing first, I center my clay. That's pretty much how everything starts. Then I open it. That's also how pretty much everything starts. But then it gets a little different because I open it pretty wide. Then I want to make it even wider. So I grab the whole lip and I slowly move it out and pull it towards me. I don't want to get it too thin. If it's too thin, thinner than the middle part of the plate, it will have arguments with itself when it dries, and the centerpiece and the lip can pop right off from each other if one is really thick and one's really thin. So when you make the lip of your plate, remember that the more you stretch it out wide, the thinner it's going to get, just like a rubber band. So leave it a little chunkier at first. So I have a little trick. I like to use this tool, and I do my first shaping pull against that tool, and that allows me to get under that little crevice where it's kind of hard to reach. Then I'm going to take my rib, and even though I'm doing a flat plate, I am not going to use the flat side, I'm going to use the curved side. And the reason for that is if I try to use the flat side, these corners will just gouge and dig and it'll be a big unholy mess. So I hold it like this, making sure that I'm in this angle so I'm not catching on anything. And I just smooth the center a little bit because we want it nice and flat. Then, making sure I'm not going to stick on any dry clay, then I can turn this little sort of bowl shape into a plate by flaring out that lip. I'm going to go fishing for my sponge in the water bucket. It's mostly mud by now. And you know, you can stop right here, but I really like the decorative part of the spiral design in the middle. See the pretty spiral? So I'm going to trim it off. And then before I stop the wheel, I'm going to add the spiral. This is the fun part. Whee! Cool, huh? Make sure I don't leave any water in there. And this one is done. Ta-da! Well, not done. I mean, this stage of the process is done. And speaking of other parts of the process, I want to show you some other really cool stuff. So I'll put this to the side for now. And I'll show you why I gave this one a double lip. It's gonna catch glaze and let it flow. And I want to do what's called thrown and altered, which means after I throw it on the wheel and I make it all perfect and symmetrical, I go back later and screw it up. I'm going to use like compass points to try to get this even. And I just realized you're not going to be able to see it when it's on the wheel. See what I mean? Like north, south, east, and west. So I'm just going to take my fingers and I'm going to pinch together north and south. Oops, that's north. I'm going to pinch together south. Then I'm going to pinch together east and west. See the spacing? Then I can go and fill in those big gaps. Because if I were to just sort of start in one point and move around, the spacing wouldn't be nearly as accurate. And it's not, you know, machine even. I could have measured it if I wanted it to be perfect, but it's more fun when it's a little bit handmade. It has some character that way. Okay, so this next part is really fun. This plate I made several hours ago and it's been sitting out so I can touch the surface without getting all muddy. And that's going to be really important because I want to add more mud. Mud of a different color. So I put it back on the wheel, if it fits. Okay, there we go. Turn my wheel back on. Nice and slow, kind of as slow as it goes. And I'm going to add white underglaze. The reason I'm doing this is that after it dries, about halfway, I can carve right through this white layer